Hey everyone, welcome back to Tales by Amir, the channel where real emotions, unexpected twists, and powerful life stories come to life. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Today's story is about a father who thought he had lost everything, only to discover his daughter had left him something priceless, $34 million. But when her ex showed up after 6 long years to claim it, he had no idea he was walking straight into the lion's den. "This is my daughter left me $34 million, her ex showed up after 6 years to take it, he messed with the wrong dad." Let's begin. I still remember the day my daughter, Emily, was born. Her tiny fingers wrapped around mine like I was her whole world. I promised that day I'd protect her, no matter what. I was a single dad for most of her life. Her mother passed away when Emily was only 4. From that day, it was just the two of us against the world. Emily grew up strong, smart, and unbelievably kind. She had a way of seeing good in people, even when I couldn't. When she turned 23, she met a man named Daniel. On the outside, Daniel was charming, ambitious, and said all the right things. But as a father, you learn to look past smiles. I didn't like him. There was something cold behind his eyes, something calculating. Emily didn't want to hear it. She was in love, and when you're in love, logic takes a backseat. They got married after only 8 months of dating. I tried to be happy for her, even walked her down the aisle with a heavy heart. But less than 2 years later, she came home crying. Daniel had been cheating, and worse, he'd been stealing from her. Emily had started her own tech company that took off faster than anyone could have imagined. She built it from scratch, poured her soul into it. But Daniel, he saw it as a shortcut. He forged documents, shifted shares, and tried to take control of her company behind her back. By the time Emily caught on, she'd lost almost everything, except her integrity. She divorced him immediately. I remember sitting with her that night, holding her hand while she said, "Dad, I thought he loved me. I just wanted someone who saw me, not my success." I told her, "Sweetheart, the people who love you will never see you as a stepping stone." She smiled weakly. That was Emily. Even through pain, she tried to find strength. After the divorce, she worked day and night to rebuild her company. It took years, but she did it. She became one of the youngest billionaires in the country before turning 30. I'd never been prouder. But then, fate struck again. Emily was diagnosed with leukemia. It hit her hard and fast. I watched my daughter, my sunshine, fade before my eyes. She fought like a warrior for 2 years. I was with her every step, through every hospital visit, every painful treatment. One night, she held my hand and said, "Dad, promise me something. Promise me you'll live your life after I'm gone. Don't let grief take you the way cancer is taking me." I couldn't speak. I just nodded, tears burning my eyes. A few weeks later, she was gone. The funeral was a blur. The world felt silent. My house felt emptier than it ever had before. My only daughter, my everything, was gone. A month later, I received a call from her lawyer. Apparently, Emily had left me everything, her entire estate, valued at $34 million. I didn't even know she had that much. She'd kept it quiet, maybe because she didn't want me to worry. In her will, she wrote, "Dad, you gave me everything, love, guidance, and strength. Now it's my turn to give something back to you. Use it to live, travel, help others. Don't just exist, live for both of us." Those words broke me all over again. For the first time in months, I felt her presence again. I decided to honor her wish. I started a small foundation in her name, the Emily Grace Foundation, helping young women start businesses and get through abusive relationships. It gave me purpose again. But then, out of nowhere, Daniel came back. 6 years had passed since the divorce. 6 years of silence. I thought he had vanished for good. But one afternoon, he showed up at my doorstep. He looked different, older, worn out, but the arrogance in his eyes hadn't changed. "Hello, Mr. Walker," he said with that same fake smile. "What do you want, Daniel?" I asked coldly. He sighed dramatically. "I heard about Emily. I'm truly sorry for your loss. She was special." I clenched my jaw. "You don't get to talk about her." He nodded slowly, pretending to be respectful. Then he said, "Well, this might be awkward, but as her legal spouse at the time of her success, I'm entitled to a portion of her estate." I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. "You're not her spouse anymore. You lost that right the moment she divorced you." He smirked. "You'd be surprised, Mr. Walker. There are legal technicalities." That's when I realized why he was really there. He didn't care about Emily. He wanted her money. I didn't say another word. I closed the door in his face. 2 weeks later, I got served. He was suing me. According to his lawyer, Daniel was claiming that some of Emily's assets, particularly the shares in her company, were technically acquired during their marriage and therefore, he was entitled to half. I couldn't believe the nerve of this man. My lawyer, an old friend of mine named Patrick, told me not to worry. "He doesn't have a case," he said. "It's a bluff. We'll crush him in court." But Daniel wasn't bluffing. He started leaking private information to the media, making it look like Emily had hidden assets from him. He wanted to drag her name through the mud, even after death, just to get a payout. That was when I lost my patience. I decided if Daniel wanted a fight, I'd give him one, but not in the way he expected. I started digging into his life. With the help of a private investigator, I found out Daniel had been in serious financial trouble. He'd started a business that went bankrupt within a year. He owed money to investors, and some of those investors weren't exactly legal businessmen. He was desperate. That desperation was his weakness. I also found something else. During the time Daniel was married to Emily, he had been funneling money into offshore accounts, money that technically belonged to her. My investigator found the records. He'd hidden them under shell companies registered in Panama. I gave everything to Patrick. When we walked into court, Daniel was confident, smug even. He had a smirk that made my blood boil. But when Patrick presented the bank statements, wire transfers, and offshore documentation, that smirk vanished. Daniel's lawyer looked confused, flipping through the papers. The judge frowned and asked, "Mr. Daniels, do you have any explanation for these transactions?" Daniel stuttered, trying to come up with something. That's not. I mean, those are old accounts, Your Honor." But it was too late. Not only was his lawsuit dismissed, but the judge ordered an investigation into possible fraud and tax evasion. Daniel didn't just lose the case, he lost everything. When we walked out of that courtroom, he glared at me and said, "You think you've won, old man?" I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "No. Emily won. Because you'll never have what she had, dignity." He was arrested 2 months later. The investigation revealed he had defrauded multiple people, including his own investors. He ended up serving time for financial crimes. As for me, I went back to the foundation. I traveled to the places Emily always wanted to see: Japan, Italy, Iceland. I took her photo everywhere I went. I'd hold it up and say, "We made it, kiddo." Every time I helped a young woman through the foundation, I felt like I was keeping Emily's spirit alive. One evening, about 2 years after Daniel's arrest, I got a letter from prison. It was from him. I almost threw it away, but curiosity got the better of me. He wrote, "Mr. Walker, I've had a lot of time to think. I don't expect forgiveness, but I need to tell you something. I was angry at Emily for leaving me. I thought I deserved what she built because I was part of her life. But sitting here now, I realize I destroyed the only good thing I ever had. I hope you know she was lucky to have you as her father." I read that letter 3 times. For a brief moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But some lessons come too late. Today, when people ask me about Emily, I tell them she was a light that burned bright and fast. She built something beautiful, not just a company, but a legacy of kindness and courage. Daniel thought he could take her money, but what he didn't understand was, wealth isn't in the numbers in a bank account. It's in the lives you touch. And Emily touched more lives than he ever could. I used part of the money she left me to open a school in her name, the Emily Walker Academy for Girls. Every student there knows her story. They learn not only business and technology but also integrity, resilience, and compassion. Sometimes, when I walk through the halls, I hear laughter, the same kind of laughter Emily used to have. It reminds me that even though she's gone, her spirit is everywhere. And as for Daniel, he got out of prison a few years later. Last I heard, he moved to another state, changed his name, and tried to start over. I don't hate him anymore. I pity him. Because no matter how much he runs, he'll never escape who he really is. Money can be stolen, fame can fade, but love, real love, leaves a mark time can't erase. Emily left me $34 million, yes, but what she really left me was a reason to live again. A purpose, a legacy. And when her ex came back after 6 years to take it, he didn't realize he wasn't fighting a grieving old man. He was fighting a father who had already lost everything once. And that's the kind of battle no man can win. Thank you all for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if someone tried to take what your loved one left you? This is Amir, signing off. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and always stand up for what's right.